What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live composing show. I'm your host, Stephen Melin. Hope you are doing absolutely fantastic today. Really pumped today. First and foremost, who is playing Elden Ring? I just have to bring that up. It sounds like in the live chat, a bunch of you have already started. That's an incredible game. And the reason I bring that up, first and foremost, the Souls series is one of my favorite of all time. And kind of combines a lot of my favorite elements of gaming, which is the Metroidvania style, which is the RPG style, but also difficulty and kind of that retro game style of fantasy, medieval meets like modern aesthetics. I think that's super cool. And I think there's a really cool connection there between the type of work that I get to do, and I'm absolutely blessed and honored to get to do, is write music for video games. And specifically, in the last 2 or 3 years, I've really niched down into a very specific type of game, and that is 2D adventure games, which is basically Souls games, right? It's Metroidvania, RPG, and platformer games. And the last few titles I've worked on have all perfectly fit within that realm, and I'm so excited that today I get to announce that officially I'll be working on the game called Twilight Monk. And right now working on the trailer for this game. And a quick little backstory. Trent is a concept artist for a bunch of big titles. And if you want to see, go check out his credits. It's pretty wild. But Trent Kaniuga, I got to figure out how to actually say his name. Kaniuga or Kaniuga, I think is how you say it, Kaniuga. Man, he's worked with Blizzard. He's worked World of Warcraft, Fortnite, Diablo 3, a bunch of stuff, Hearthstone. But this guy is absolute phenomenal talent and has made a huge impact on a lot of gamers' lives. His art direction is absolutely brilliant. And recently he's actually gone an indie route, and he's working on this game called Twilight Monk. And he's created some graphic novels and some comics for that same names, Twilight Monk. So anyone in his art community are very familiar with what he does. And he's going to finally take this and kind of combine his two worlds, which is art and video games, and make his own game. And that's where our conversation has led, where I'm going to be working on the trailer today. And it's such an exciting crossroads because this is like, if I could sit down and create a game from scratch, and I'm not a game developer, I've dabbled a little bit, but if I could just like on paper write down exactly the type of game I would want to play and the type of game I would want to write for, it's this. It's a culmination of all of my favorite things. And probably the closest example for gamers out there would be Hollow Knight, which I think is, this game is going to get a lot of references to that, because Hollow Knight is hand-drawn animation, and it uses live music. It uses a very somber, dark art style. It's a Souls-like game. It's a Metroidvania. So this game, Twilight Monk, has a lot of similarities, but it's also super unique in its own storytelling and its own art style. And it's not a copy or duplicate by any means. It's going to have its own identity. And I love that this world has already been built. This isn't just like day one starting from scratch. There is an entire book series of graphic novels that these characters and these themes and the art direction, it's all coming from. So there's a rich lore here to dive into. And I'm so excited because that's a big deal, especially working with a game industry legend is also just another super cool moment. So I hope that this is a really fun show for you today, because for me, this is day one, stepping into this world. So I'm not even super familiar with the story and all of that yet, but I'll dive in deeper as we go. But my challenge today is starting a brand new project, creating a brand new soundscape, a new template, a new sound for a new world. And it's scary, it's daunting, because it's literally a blank canvas, a blank page, but that's also super exciting for me. I love working in games. However, one of the downsides to working in games that no one ever talks about is when you're working on a game series that you might be working on for years, 2, 3, 4 years, which I've done on several games now, there comes a point where it's really fun to continue writing music for a game series, but there's also a little bit of limitation there, a little bit of creativity that's stifled because you're having to kind of replicate the same style over and over and over and over again. And sometimes it's just really nice to scratch that itch of, okay, something new that I can literally just create a fresh template for, a fresh orchestration for, instrumentation, and run with it. So it's good to do both. So I'm really pumped about that today, and man, we're going to have some fun. Some of the core influences, just so we're on the same page here. This is another funny part about this whole idea of niching down and really being specific in your craft. Trent is inspired by the exact same music that I am, and the same, we're like, without even talking terribly much, like we're already in full alignment musically. He's very inspired by the Final Fantasy series, by the Legend of Zelda series, the Dark Souls series. So it makes great sense that our styles are going to align, and it's going to work. So I'm super excited about this. So for today's purposes, boom, let's go over here. I'm in my Cubase session, and I don't have a trailer yet to score. So instead, Trent and I were talking that for this circumstance, it actually makes more sense for me to write the music first, because he hasn't finished the trailer yet. It's in production, and I already have some art assets. I already have some of the gameplay and such, that I have enough material to work with to make the music. So I'm going to write a 1-minute track, and then while he's building the trailer, he's going to time his trailer to the music and to all of like the dramatic changes that happen in the music. So it's so cool. This is a composer's dream right here. I love film scoring, by the way. And it's one of the things I miss doing. 99% of my life is games right now. So I do enjoy the process of writing for trailers and matching the action on the screen, but there's always some challenge there with the pacing and changing tempos and making sure things line up to the hits. So I've learned the last couple of years that whenever I work on game trailers, it's almost easier just to write the music first, because then the editors can literally just like cut everything to the changes of the beat, and it tends to work out better. Super cool. And before I jump in, I have to say hi to some people. So we got Robin, Thomas, Taro, Wells, Chu, Andreas, Marie, Ju, Micah, David just popped in. What's up? Sector 7's here. A bunch of new faces too. I'm really excited. And another fun part about working on a new project, working on a new series, is you start to combine fans of different people groups and like expanding our community here, which is really, really interesting and really fun. Man, I'm so ready. So in preparation for this today, I try not to do too much, because sometimes, let's be honest, guys, sometimes you can prepare, like you can over prepare. And specifically with this show, the live composing show, I want to make sure that everything is impromptu and everything is live, and, mistakes and all, you guys can be part of the process. However, when it comes to a brand new game and a brand new series, brand new thematic material, it would be really foolish of me to just like wing it today completely. And you guys have heard me talk about this quite a bit before, but I'm a really big supporter of sheet music and what it means to write a theme on paper, on purpose, away from the computer, at a piano, at a guitar, whatever. There's something really special that happens in that process where it allows you just to simmer and think. And I always give myself at least one day, like to sleep on it, one night to sleep on it, which was the case. So I literally just wrote this yesterday. And I've tweaked it already a couple times. And I think that's good, because when you write a melody that's supposed to be like the main theme, you really need to think on it. You really need to edit it and edit it and edit it until it's exactly what you want it to be. Because in the game, we're going to hear this main theme constantly, and it's going to be all over the place. It's going to be transposed. It's going to be modified and arranged and reorchestrated, and the chords are going to change. And you really got to have a strong singable theme that's like the sonic identity of a game. And I'm really proud of this theme, and I think it's going to work really well. So let me just play that first. I think that's a great place to start today. That's about all I've done. I've done a couple little sketches in Cubase. And you're going to see today over here in the right-hand corner, you're going to notice that I grabbed a bunch of screenshots from the game that they're just going to be on a slideshow throughout the show today. Every couple minutes it's going to change to something new, just so you can kind of get a visual of what this amazing game looks like. It's an action RPG, Metroidvania Souls-like. So if you've ever played anything in the Dark Souls series, or you've played Hollow Knight, then you'll totally understand. It's very action-oriented, but it's also very experimental. Or not experimental. It's exploration-based and puzzle solving, and like you go and you find keys and you fight bosses and that kind of stuff. So let me. You guys are funny. Yes, the hairs have been cut. Let me play just for a moment. What we have here, I'm just going to grab a piano because I feel like this is going to work really well on a piano. Grab my keyboard here, and you can see my little sheet music here. So let me just play the basics. I'll play the melody first. So if you put some chords behind that. Something in that realm, right? So, pretty happy with that so far. I think that's the right style. It's the right idea. I think that it needs to be dark and moody and dramatic and exploratory, and it needs to be simple enough and singable enough that you could play it in multiple time signatures. You could play it as a battle track. You could play it as like a pretty sad, somber main character theme. And that it's a very important balance to have. In the same way, maybe I can just pick on one of the core references for this game. Let me pick on Final Fantasy VII, right? Super classic. Right? So clearly, a melody like that may not even be the most memorable melody of that game, but it was used in so many contexts throughout the game, in little fragments and different keys and different instruments, that little 5/6 melody motive just became the theme, right? That's kind of what I'm going for here, is simple, singable. Because, let me just show this off for a second. I was experimenting. Okay, what does this sound like if I do it in a 3/4 or even a 6/4 vibe versus a 4/4? Like, can this melody be transformed easily into multiple contexts? And I think it can. So, for example, a 6/4. Right? So it kind of has this da, 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 like a sad waltz, which could be used in so many different contexts. But on the other side, you could make this in 4/4 by doing, now this is a pretty Hollow Knight thing to do. Right? Kind of doing that. One, two, 3. I guess that's still 6. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. But if I did this in 4/4 time, it would sound like this. So you see how easily you could put that in the lower voice, and you can make it a 4/4 time, and you could use infinite amounts of instrumentation for this. But I think starting with piano is the right choice because you can always build upon that. And Taro in the chat is mentioning, City of Tears, exactly. City of Tears from Hollow Knight was that it's like a piano. Whatever it is. And there's a soprano voice, like a live singer who is whatever, it's just singing this beautiful little melody on top. And you could do that too, or you could do like the viola or solo violin, solo cello route of playing a beautiful string melody on top of piano chords. So there's a lot of ways you can transform something that's simple like this. But the main thing for me was I wanted to make sure the melody had this modal change, meaning major to minor, almost as if our hero, I don't even know all the context of the story, but it's based on the art, the visual style I see. There's a lot of light versus dark, and it seems like our character is a demon hunter, so like she comes from a line of demon hunters in her family, and so her job is, there's going to be a lot of conflicting emotions. This whole idea of battle, of war, of killing for good, right? It's this concept, it's this back and forth between good and evil, of light and dark. So that's kind of the vibe I'm going for. So for me, going from a D major to D minor, that's kind of the tonality I'm going for. Because if you're an A minor and then D major, D minor, and then ending on a D minor, E minor. So that's like the general idea. And I want to, the instrumentation wise, I want to make sure that I'm really highlighting light versus dark. And I want to make a clarification that for today's purposes, as much fun as it would be, and I might have time, I don't know, as much fun as it would be for me to sketch out a bunch of little tracks for the game, which I might do at some point, it makes more sense today because it's a trailer. The trailer has to have some action-packedness, right? It has to have two juxtaposing ideas. It needs to have like a somber, sad, emotional side, but then pretty quickly, within like 5 seconds or so, it really has to ramp up more into the heroic, build up the action sequence, right? Because that's what trailers do. They try to get you hyped up and pumped up for the game. So I have to lean a little bit heavier into the action battle side today, but I still want that overarching melody or that overarching, some kind of fragment of it, something to help kind of, glue us to the screen and find our way in. So that's a challenge today. I don't have all this pre-existing musical material to base anything off of, but that's the idea. So we're going to just experiment today, see what works, see what doesn't work. And before I even wrote this little theme on paper, let me show you what I wrote. Literally, I didn't want to think too hard. I just wanted to see what would naturally come out. I pulled open these screenshots that you're seeing up here in the right-hand corner, and I just wrote this with no context. So I'm curious what you think. there you go. Not exactly the same tone as the beautiful melody, but those are just some basic ideas I had. It doesn't make them good or bad. It's just based on my visuals, right? So one of my first hurdles I have to cross here is, do I want the sound to be retro, since the visuals are kind of retro, or do I really want to lean more into the modern production sample library mixed with live elements? And I think I need to lean more towards the high production side. Marie says the FF7 reference is very clear. Cool. Yeah, I mean, some of the reference tracks were from Final Fantasy VII, so that's definitely a good starting point. And I do want to share as well that, let me play a couple other. There were some actual reference tracks. Once upon a time, there was a composer who contributed some music for the game. And this is well worth playing. I haven't quite made up my mind what I think about these tracks, if I feel like they're fitting or not. But at any rate, someone has already done some work for this game. But we don't know if it's going to make it in the game or not. So it's worth at least sharing the baseline that we're starting with. That way I can choose whether to emulate that or maybe find some similarities between the tracks to try to emulate my own music. So let me play a few clips from a few tracks that already exist for the game, and I'd like to either improve them or emulate some of the style. So there you go. There's some of the reference tracks I got for some styles, and there were no notes given as far as what was liked, what was disliked about them. It was more so, here's what's been done. But somewhere in there, there's also the question of, okay, so why are we not using more from this composer or more of this style? So I think there's parts of it that definitely work, and I think it's Taro, thanks for the feedback. In the chat says, I love the mix of electronic in these, definitely an eerie vibe. So I definitely am feeling some of the tension, some of the eeriness. I like the electronic synth kind of stuff. I like the vocal elements. Those are pretty cool. I don't want to lean too heavy into orchestral. I really want to find a unique blend that's going to work, And Erland, lots of questions in the chat. Sue says, if we're allowed to ask questions, might I ask how you came across the opportunity to work on this? Were you approached by the creator or through some form of networking? I get this question all day, every day. And I can always be honest with you guys. Man, when it comes to games, I'm a big fan of just talking to developers and having conversations. It sounds so simple and too easy to be true, but it is the truth. I just talk with developers a lot, and when it can go both ways. I've had projects where creators have reached out to me and they've hired me. Other situations where I've reached out to them, and especially if I see something, if I see some screenshots or GIFs or something online, and it really catches my interest on Steam, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever, on forums. Like when I see something, I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks like a dream project. Let's go talk to that person. Whether or not they have a composer or not, it doesn't really matter. Like, let's go meet and become friends with the makers of this thing, because this looks awesome. And I want to be either a part of just being your cheerleader, of rooting you on because this looks awesome, I want to play it one day, or let's work together if this can work. And you just start conversations, and if it leads to work, fantastic. And that's one of my biggest encouragements to composers out there, or anyone who wants to get into the game industry. Go spend time and meet and like naturally network. Go meet people and have conversations with them about their lives, about their vision, their work, all that kind of stuff, you know. Good things shall happen. Anywho, yeah, so I'm inspired, and I really want to lean somewhere into this. I want to stay true to my own unique sound, but also want to lean more into this like ambience and a little bit more of this eerie vibe. And I want to make sure I can capture it in a trailer. Trailers are a special beast, because you're trying to represent the game as a whole while also conveying like action and, you know. I love this patch. This is from Zebra. This is the base patch. I don't even know what it's called. It doesn't tell me. So I'm not going to change my settings, but it's in Zebra somewhere. Question today is, how hard can I hit this without going too like overboard? But you know what, if there's one thing I've learned, and I'll stop talking and I'll start writing, if there's one thing I've learned in the game industry, specifically to the game industry, that's different from film and TV and podcasts and stuff, the more unique you are, the more like the bolder your choices are, typically you're more hireable, because you become very niche and very specific and very interesting. And you might turn off 99% of other work, and it's just fine. Like, my music really doesn't work too well in films unless I tame it down and make it really pretty and inspirational, right? But to me, like, it's so much fun to just go, like, how many films would that work in? Maybe Marvel, but there's so many games that could work for. That'd be so cool for a dungeon. And I'm excited for the opportunity to really improve my chops as an ambient composer, to write music that like morphs a little bit more over time, is a little bit spookier, like this. I mean, you can't do this in a trailer because you don't have time. You don't have 4 minutes to let the track evolve, but I want to give some kind of sense. see myself using this formula. I'm trying to make sure that the piece of music changes over time. So I submitted this idea to Trent, just this idea of pacing, how I want to start with story for about 20 seconds, build up for another 20 seconds, have a 2-bar small rise, and then action rise, a little bit of silence, hit the title card, release, end. So the whole idea is the track's always moving and changing. I think as long as I follow that formula, it'll work. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to save a new version of this, just in case I want to re-borrow that theme later. I'm going to call it version 2. That way I can get rid of all this material without like losing it forever. It's just in a different session. But I can keep the template. I can keep the... something like that like strongly states the theme, I think would be a good idea. Maybe we can go a little bit slower. It's currently at 124. Maybe we can go like 116. Go with the ride. Oops. Something in that vein. Still too fast. So working on trailers, I've learned that anytime that you can leave little small bits of silence, it gives you some room for sound effects. It gives some room for more ambient noises to be thrown in there. So I'm trying to leave some spaces. That way there's more of a dramatic hit when things come in. There's more purpose. Oh, you can compare this to Hollow Knight. I'm not trying to copy in any way. I think they have similar aesthetics. It's a dark kind of environment. Experiment. I want to find some kind of vocal-ish synth. I think Omnisphere is going to be a good place to look. Oops. Let's find something cool. Maybe drown it in some reverb or EQ or something. But I need some kind of like in those reference tracks. I don't know if I want it to be like a real voice or not. Let me look in synths first. There's literally a term called eerie. I'm going to call it eerie pad. Let's just keep experimenting. It's half the fun of this. Pretty cool. Let's put an EQ on it to tame it down. I don't know how well that works, but I like that pad. I can find a good use for that. I'm going to keep going in this list, though. There's some pretty cool synths here. And that was in Omnisphere 2. What did I do? I did category, synth, or no, textures, playable, and then genre, or mood, eerie. That's a really cool filter. Haven't done that before. Oh my gosh, that's really, really good. Makes me think of Dark Souls campfires, like bonfires. Because it has the feeling of strings playing flotando. I like that a lot too. We'll call that the Ember pad. So part of this is just building like sounds that work well together, that are interesting. And I'm okay with this taking a little while because this is really important to get this right. To figure out, okay, what's like the sound of, because I have a melody, but what's the sound of this game, of this world? I'm trying to think of more atmospheric things, so playable textures seems to be the sweet spot. What's up, Arfo? These are all really good for atmosphere. Wow. Look at the picture above me. That's so fitting. To me, this, wow. To me, that feels like an underground ice kind of city that could go really well in the background. And of course, these are not really melodies by any stretch, but I'm just trying to find what works, what doesn't. Oh, here we go. Sopranos in the Mist. Ooh, that's exactly what I wanted. Marie, I have done movies before. Just nothing huge. Ooh, I like this because when you use really weird patches like this that are textures, they have a lot of built-in overtones. Oh, that's so cool. What should I call that? Choir. That's not even a choir pad. It's like a I'll call it atonal choir pad. I'm going to start with that. I think that's really cool. Let me do a bit of EQ on it so it's not so overwhelmingly big. Because pads like this can really take up too much space. Just for fun. Let me throw some insane reverb on it. Wow. One thing I'm going to fix about the patch, as cool as that is, I really need to tame down this release. So it doesn't like consume. Cool. Let me just solo that. And I'm thinking we're going to have to do 4/4 time. I know it sounds so cheesy, but there's something about 4 that really works well for trailers when you're trying to time things out. So let me play around with it. I'm going to choose a slower tempo. That way, if I want to double the tempo, I can. For a more action-packed sections, maybe like 60 or 70. Let me just attempt. Oops. Here we go. I like that because it's like, it's spooky and it rises over time. So I think that's perfect ambience for some kind of story on top. All right, I'm gonna do 2 different pianos here. There's gonna be like a piano low verb, like the low growls. I'll even call them growls. Versus a piano that's like intimate melody, because this works. Like, works great for there, but for like the low growls, I want some crazy, crazy. It's gotta have some oomph. That's cool. Let me experiment a little bit more. That's so cool. Here we go. Let's roll with that. It's pretty blood pumping. There's so much you can do on top of that. And that's why I chose a slow tempo, that way I could double it. Makes me wonder if I should just, let me do this. In that moment, let me change the tempo just for my sanity to 120, which is a perfect double. That way if I want to mess with it later, I can. Sounds like the build-up needs to happen here. I'm just kind of reshuffling some stuff. Let's see, 1, 2. Because I still have to make this thing a minute. It's going to be hard to only make it a minute. But that is the goal. So right there, bar 20 is where the silence needs to happen. Title card hits. 1, 2, 3. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. That's weird. Is that even a 3? that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Same tempo. Just something different. This is going to be really fast. 2, 3, 1, 2. Either 3 or 4. It doesn't really matter. Oh, what's that metric conversion? 160. Take it. It's a 1.5. So what is 180? I don't have to get into all the math, but if you want to convert quarter notes in 4/4 to quarter notes in 3/4, triplets, I should say triplets, then you have to multiply by 1.5. So yay, 6/4 made its way back. I can't avoid it. It's my calling. Yay, I did the math. Actually works out perfectly on time, bar wise. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So silence, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bun. Title card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Release 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it's over. Exactly 1 minute. Woohoo! Okay, so let me explain what the heck just happened because I was in the zone. What I'm trying to do is write interesting music that's not always 4/4. I feel like action music does best in this style in 6/4. And so I was trying to time it out to where I could hit each of those like story points and still have a little melody and then have a bit of battle and then title card at the end. So that was that. Sometimes I don't stop long enough to explain what I'm doing. But I hope you get what's going on. And let me explain that for a second. The metric conversion. If you're ever interested in this is something I live by because I just think it's the coolest musical function. So whenever you have, let's just say 4/4 time, something that's very simple, and you want to make it a little bit more complex, and you want to transfer, like basically you want to keep the metronome the same, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. I was in 60 BPM 4/4 time. But all of a sudden in my head, I heard a ding, 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 ding. Same, right? Same click. But that's no longer in 4/4 time. It's in 6/4. So what do? You have to change the metronome to a click that's exactly the same. So the shortcut is to multiply by 3. Okay, so you can either multiply by 3 or you can double it and then multiply by 1.5, which is the long way. But the shortcut is just to multiply by 3. So I did 60 BPM in the first section, which is 4/4 down here, 60, you can see it. And then when I got to the 6/4 part, since it's like doing a triplet, da, 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 I changed it to 180, which is 3 times 60. And it feels the same. Here it is. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was the metric conversion. And it's such a cool way to not have to change your tempo and just it helps the flow. Whenever you're doing film scoring type stuff, it helps to keep the flow between 2 sections. See, I'm similar, but I'm really not trying to copy Hollow Knight. It's in a similar vein of minor chords, just a bunch of minor chords. If anything, I'm taking more of a hint from Dark Souls, the Gwyn, right? That kind of thing. Taro, hate to keep bringing up Hollow Knight, but hashtag Christopher Larkin. Challenger approaches. That's why I'm really trying to lean. Chris Larkin did a great job of leaning into the orchestral palette. I'm really trying to hit more of the synthy side anyway, with some orchestral on top. Who knows where the heck this is going? I mean, we're figuring this out as we go. What's funny is immediately after I wrote this on paper, I played it back a couple times on the piano and I said, oh crap, now I'm ripping off Uematsu, Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy VIII. He does the same chord change. It's the major to minor. So here's the Final Fantasy VIII battle theme. Right, it's exactly same notes too. I mean, it's just in my brain. I can't escape it. And then Final Fantasy IV is the let me grab something else. But those are direct influences that Trent wants this game to sound like anyway, so it's kind of naturally going to happen because I'm so obsessed with those types of chord changes, and those are so influential in my life. Anyway. So I love having some kind of orchestral pulse in the background. But then like having these like, I don't know, swirling. I mean, this is a Demon Hunter. Come on. And really let the delay of the synths carry that I don't know. This is an Elden Ring reference for all of you. Since I'm playing the game right now. So my dude has I'm doing two-handed sword, but I'm doing incantations, and so one of my spells is a giant black fireball, and he shoots it at dudes, and it's super strong. So like that's the image I'm getting. It's so cool. It's like this like swirling black flame. I'm such a nerd. Oh Lord. cheesy as it is, it works because the title card hit. I want to do one of these. Or I just stab it. Like that. That was the wrong note, but just like 2 bars of bleh. Here's the thing. Hollywood, the Hollywood film sound, ever since Hans Zimmer entered the scene, love him, great stuff, not me, not my style. He introduced in the trailer world and everything, the Inception horns, right? The Brahm, right? Which is in every trailer ever. And I've done trailers and it's like a necessity of that style. So what I'm trying to do is find a artistic creative replacement for those big hits in the video game context that suits this. And so I'm trying to find a synth and like piano stabs that help to give it that oomph. But that's kind of what I'm doing. If this was a traditional trailer, I would use a Brahm, a big brass, right, with a big hit. I'm trying to avoid that or replace it with something that's a little bit more, I don't know, unique, interesting, but conceptually the same. 1, 2, 3. And it might actually work out really well to make it subdued and not over the top, because it's actually a little bit creepier if when the title card hits, boom, right? When the Twilight monk name comes on, it's kind of cool to just be one super muffled piano sound that fades out like that. I like it. And maybe one kind of something like, so here's a question for myself. If I were to pick 3 notes to represent the melody in the whole game, maybe 4 notes, like a Sonic logo, a calling card. Oh, Marie, what's up? You know what I mean? Light versus dark. Okay, I think it is solved. If I'm filtering everything today through light and dark coexisting, yin yang, right? Then it makes sense that I would do that. And maybe it needs to be in the same patch. Ooh. Hello. Ooh. Gives me goosebumps. Oh my gosh, why is that so goosebumpy? I love that. Okay, let me show you my effects chain for anyone who wants to recreate this sound. It's a piano. It's a Steinway piano. Or no, it's a Yamaha C7 piano. But look at my EQ. It's bananas. It's like straight up low end only. And I'm boosting it. But then I'm running it through a canyon, rather. A canyon reverb, IR. And then another reverb. This is a B2. It's a digital reverb, a giant plate. So you can see how it's taking the high frequencies and they're so subdued. Just creates this gorgeous, like, intimate sound. Wow, how cool is that? Oh, that's so good. I don't know if I want to go into that territory, but okay. You want to get into Christopher Larkin land? You ready for this? I've studied it. Like, I get it. I've studied it, so I have it in my back pocket. It doesn't mean I'm going to do it. But if you really want to sound like him, then you need to grab a harp. Let me find from 8DO. 8DO has a killer harp. You mix harp with piano that's EQ'd heavily with lots of reverb. Daniel, there is no piano VST that exists that will ever satisfy your exact customization without you making it yourself. You're going to have to do it yourself. Here we go. Just wait. Larkin Land is coming. Fear not, child. Fear not. Right? But you gotta mix it with that really, really intimate piano. Magical things happen. Now it's Hollow Knight. Can I write for Silk Song yet? Yeah, right. He's gonna absolutely crush that game. Can't wait to play it. Okay, I'm gonna play my melody with this. Check it out. I have to avidly avoid harp for this soundtrack, otherwise it will absolutely feel too much like Hollow Knight. As much as I freaking love it, like it's just gonna be a no-no. As much as I like it, it's too copycat. Hey, look, it's Oreo. Early for next week. What's up? It's okay. You're early for next week. You're good. You're good. All right. Back to the show. Much. I'm doing a stick with that. I really like the, well, the Black Flame. Duh. I want the music to take you on an adventure. Hey, thanks, will you? I really like that. I mean, that'd be such a killer boss battle theme or something in that vein. And I realize that you know, a lot of the gameplay for Metroidvanias are very atmospheric and kind of chill, and they kind of grow over time and that kind of thing. But trailers, you gotta lean a little bit more into that. Ooh. Wow. That's such a good trailer vibe. What if we did this like the whole ensemble? That's better than what I have. Okay, so here's a little secret. When you don't know what you don't know, save as version 3, and just don't lose your ideas because you might come back to them. But I'm going to erase my intro. At the end of the day, I'm going to send all this stuff that I like to the developer anyway, just to see what they like, what they don't like. But it doesn't mean it has to be in the trailer, right? The trailer has to serve one purpose, and that's to get people excited about the game, to give a little bit of the vibe. But I just feel like that's the right answer. And it's in 6.4. The whole thing's in 6.4. Let me just roll with it. But there's something about this EQ'd, reverbed piano that is so like intoxicating. I don't know what it is about it. It's so alluring, right? And because it's so EQ'd, it means that it's leaving so much room in the high end that when I slap it with like the intensity is going to go from a 1 to a 10. And that's exactly what you want with the drama of a trailer, right? To really hit that hard. And it kind of gives this cool little, whatchamacallit, words. Gives it drama. I guess drama. Drama is what I'm looking for. Energy. Okay. By the way, someone was asking, I think it was, sorry for being so unbelievably late to your question. You guys are chatting it up. Matt Lewis, a million years ago, asked, how do I add these things, these tempo tracks? You just right click anywhere in Cubase up here in the columns, and you go to add track, and then you can add a tempo track and a signature track. Super useful. You can add marker tracks and color them and do all sorts of fun stuff. So I'm going to make this 180 from the beginning. That way. There we go. it starts off with some blood pumping energy. It just happens to be in the piano. And I love that. Ah, that's so beautiful. Yeah. And I know it's going to make everything a little bit shorter, but I'm willing to take that risk. Just try to trust me for a minute. I could have run with any of those ideas, but this is the one that's like speaking the loudest and has, and you guys have watched me do these live shows enough that sometimes it takes me an hour or an hour and a half to like get all the bad ideas or the lesser ideas out of the way. That when I really land on something that works, I can run with it. That's okay. That is okay. That's part of self-awareness in this gig. See how well that transitions? Oh my gosh, that's so much better. Because then it's just naturally a 5 chord to a 1 chord, and it just works so much better. And then it allows the action to be like smacks you in the face because this EQ is so strong. But it's a very clear message. It's one thing. Love that. It's so simple, it's so trailer, but whatever. This is like an opera. Oh, it's like so many classic rock. Oh my gosh. I'm thinking of Bohemian Rhapsody, Queen. Come on. This way I can still do like the atmospheric thing. Maybe. machine gun. Cool. This is a much stronger singular vision, I think. Some of the stuff I was doing before. That's okay. It's all part of the process. You can't keep every idea. I think orchestral's gonna work. The only way the orchestral would work is if that's considered like the light and all the synthy stuff is the dark. Maybe that can be the juxtaposition, like putting them side by side. There will be no solo viola in this soundtrack either. It's too much Hollow Knight. So here's a thought. I do think a solo instrument should probably be at the center of all this because it's one character against these big demons. So it doesn't feel right to do a big heroic, Elden Ring, let's be honest, something like that, which is just over the top. Hollywood. I don't like Hollywood sound. You kind of have to do some of it for trailers because it's expected, but in general. Found a solution yet, and that's okay. I really got to dive into the synth world here, which is fine. It's a fun place to experiment. But yeah, I need some kind of synth lead to at least start the journey. it doesn't feel right. It feels too retro going into the synth space, but maybe I can find something that is still synthetic, but I gotta think on this one. I like that because the melody is just transposed. I think that works. Hmm. We have the right structure. Now it's the production part and making sure that this really pops. Let's grab some perk, but not just perk, but like synth perk. It's a different kind of perk, like this. Keep the jumps very clean, but effective, you know. Of course, turn that way down. That's the idea. love that. It's a hemiola. It's going from 6/4 to 3/4. 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and it's the exact same thing as before. It's that rhythmic, it's the metric conversion. The tempo stays the same, but the pulse changes. So those are my synth snares. Let's get some kind of synth kick in there to really pump this thing up. Maybe just synth drums. I don't do a lot of this kind of perk, and this is interesting to me. I want to find some low hits. So cool. I like that. So interesting. Come on, like there's so many cool actions you can do to that. Clean this up a little bit. Real quick. That's a really cool sound. Very unique, and this is where that hybrid sound comes from. It's combining things that don't usually go together. And I like this strong emphasis on the synth world, but also grounded in some orchestral. Which is again is the light versus dark. Why not have both? Cool. Those are really synth toms. Let's call it what it is. Let's see what else we can spice this up with. Synth perk 3. Let's find something else that really fits. And notice the drums aren't taking up too much space either. They're very, very clean. That's cool. Little VG melody. Halftime. That's a really cool sound. I like these synths that have the ARP built in. You love when I get distracted. I don't. It's inevitable. It always happens around the 2-hour mark. My brain just shuts down. There is something to say about that, truly. There comes a point when I'm writing that I have no more filter, and then I really just start throwing out all the crazy ideas, and sometimes the crazy ideas are fun and interesting. That's another good synth lead. such a good bass. So I'm gonna call this synth bass 2, or I should call this 2 because this is 1. It's really good, like starting off bass. I'm gonna put an EQ on it so I don't destroy the speakers. Here we go. Hey, Eunice is in the house. What's up? Here we go. I like the piano by itself. Since I have pads and stuff in the background, I might as well do something, right? What about Unalesca? It's my favorite games, by the way. FF10. I don't even like that character, but yeah. I like having that bass in the beginning. It kind of gives it more weightiness, more fullness. It's kind of out of the way. Find even one more perk, something else to lower, like to get in the low end, to really slam it. It might just have to be like a kick drum. Thanks. Alright, did that one. You guys are kind. Let's see that in context. You could kind of call these kick drums. That's like Skyrim right there. As soon as you use a trumpet, it's gonna sound like Skyrim. Let's experiment a little bit with let's try some Tokyo strings. Let's test this out with some strings. Oh, I gotta wrap this party up really soon, even if I don't finish. Just for time constraints. But man, we've gotten a lot done in 2 hours. I want to just test for a minute. What does this theme sound like if we layer some strings on top? Especially if we can grab some this beautiful lush reverb. So this is Tokyo scoring strings, one of my favorite. Although, I need to use a hall, not a canyon. Let's give this a shot. Oops, wrong key. Totally works. Super powerful. A little boomy. I like that overtone. It's like a harmonic. This still needs some fixing, but this is a very fat sound. I'm liking this a lot. Cool thing about this little motive is I can transpose it anywhere. So eventually this turns to like a boss battle. Transpose it 1,000 different ways. Or we can keep it minor. That'd be a really good like title screen. Right. If you don't do like the piano route, like any of these synths would do the job too, if you really want to keep it unique. Friends, that's all I got for today. I'm out of juice. This is one of those themes that I really got to get right. It's going to take a couple of days. That's okay. It'll be better if I take more time than less. It'll just be better. And this is an important theme to get right. And I like what I have so far. So let me just play what we have so far. It's kind of version 1 work in progress so far. And I'll get some feedback from the dev and shape it to better fit and all that good stuff. But yeah, thanks for hanging out for the last couple hours. I gotta go. Got some babies crying. I go love on the family. You guys have a fabulous rest of your day and good weekend, and I'll see you guys next time. And of course, you'll hear the final trailer when it's out. And it might be very different from this, but I'm pretty sure we're on a right track so far. So you guys have a fantastic day. Let's play it out. The trailer so far, work in progress for Twilight Monk. Have a lovely day. Bye.